All right, so what we're going to talk about today is the fastest way to get wealthy, or the fastest way to get rich. We'll talk about being rich, then we'll talk about being wealthy, is to start a business. I have a story I want to share with you. Many years ago, I used to be extremely poor. I lived in what was called a boarding house, and I was struggling to make ends meet and then make a lot of money. Here is how I went from being a regular person with a regular income to getting rich in 3 years. There's some more of the story that we gotta go. We gotta go way back when I was in the storage auction business, where my average monthly income was about $25,000. There was a few times where it got to $40,000 to $50,000, but on average it was about $25,000. And this was a business I was in for about a decade. Now, from a cash standpoint, I was making a lot of money, but I did not become a millionaire in that business. But I need to talk about that business to explain to you how that business actually made me a millionaire. So I was in that business 10 years, and then my partner was diagnosed with colon cancer. Rest in peace, Francine. You want to start a business, you want to set up a holding company, an operating company, you want to get yourself some business credit, you want to learn how to run a business, you want to start your first online business. If you want to do that, and congratulations to you for being a person that wants more out of life, for being that person that's ready to sit down, do the work so your future can be brighter. I got something for you. Go below and enter into the Corporate Citizen Playbook, where we teach you all of that plus a lot more. Because you are not a normal, regular person. You want more out of life. You want to do more, you want to be more, you want to have more. And congratulations to you. So this link is below. Go ahead and check out this video, and then go ahead and enroll in the Corporate Citizen Playbook, where I teach you some things that you cannot Google. Can't Google it. Can't Google it at all. And you know, I was in a weird place. So I come out of that business. I have 2 houses. I've got $300,000 cash in the bank and no debt. So I start doing something different. And my goal was to write a relationship book. I know, kind of crazy, right? Well, after about halfway through the relationship book, I actually changed my mind. And then I wrote my first best-selling book, Making Money A to Z with Self-Storage Unit Auctions. And then that book was compiled from me being in the storage auction business for 10 years. See how these two tie together? Because if I had not been in the storage auction business, I wouldn't have had the intellectual property to write that book. So the first year, I made $62,000. The third year, I made $92,000. Well, the second year I made $92,000. The third year I made $1.6 million. Now let's go ahead and talk about the habits, because essentially from 2009 to 2011, I became a millionaire from a business. And this is one of the things that you have to understand. And this, I'll even speak candidly, while I never became a millionaire in the storage auction business. The first thing is, I actually loved the storage auction business. I loved it to death. And that's one of the reasons I didn't become a millionaire. See, the way the storage auction business was set up was predicated on me going out to auctions for me to buy stuff. And the way it was set up was for me to list ads. And the way that I did that business was a recipe for internal self-employment. I didn't expand, I didn't hire people, I didn't try to grow the business, because at that time I didn't really understand those concepts the way that I understand them today. So this is one of the main reasons that the storage auction business, I never became a millionaire, because I didn't know how to hire upper level people. And also, it was a lot of fear, because for me to grow that business, I would have had to entrust people with tens of thousands of dollars to go to auction and buy stuff. And first I had to train them, and it was just very, very heavy. So after I come out of this business and I get into the intellectual property business, it was a different game, friend. And I remember the first day that I wrote my book, and when you write a book and they send you a copy of your first published book that's called a galley, I was so over the moon happy. I was so top. But I didn't really know that I had tapped into something that was incredible. I had no clue to what I had tapped into, because, to be straight up with you guys, that first year I made $62,000. I was thrilled. I was over the top happy, because see, I was leaving the territory of having to buy products and then resell. This product came from my mind. This product was 100% organic. I was able to do this from an organic standpoint and make $62,000 in 1 year working from my basement. I was over the top happy. The next year, I made $30,000 more. I was thrilled. And I began to see where this was going. And that third year was the banger year, because at the point I still had a lot of money in the bank. So when I made that 1.6 and paid my taxes with the money I had in the bank, I was a millionaire. And it happened in 3 years. So from personal experience, you cannot buy stock. I really don't know a lot about crypto, so I'm not going to talk about crypto. But hands down, starting a business and scaling it up the correct way is the fastest way for you to get rich. Now let's talk about rich. What is rich? My estimation of rich is when you get to an income of $250,000 and higher. That makes you rich. Why does this income make you rich? Because you could drive what you want, you could pretty much live where you want, pay your taxes, and have a lot of money to invest in becoming an asset-based wealthy person. We're going to talk about that. 250 is very, very important, because it gives you the cash flow to do more things, where you can, like, literally, if you were making 250 and you paid your taxes and then you took 100K out of that 250 and invested that, in 10 years, just on a principal basis, you would be a millionaire. Well, I would think about 7 years in, you'll probably be a millionaire from your contributions and the appreciation and of your compound interest, right? Now, here's the thing. Now, let's talk about being rich. What is rich? Now, at the moment, I'm going to talk about myself. I have a lot of things that are not cash producing, like this watch. Right here I have, that's a $50,000 watch. I got a $265,000 car in the garage. Next, I got another car that's probably worth 60. So that's 320, 370, plus some other stuff. We could just go ahead and say $750,000 in non-cash producing assets, and then cash, whatever the cash, that's well over 7 figures, right? But here's the thing. My assets and my cash do not produce income. This is really, really critical point for you to understand. So when we talk about being wealthy, we don't want to talk about having a stock portfolio that's worth $1 million. We don't want to talk about having a house that's worth, $600,000-700,000, because that's what's going to cause what I like to call static wealth. This is assets that have a value, but it doesn't produce money. And this is why I say, to be traditionally wealthy, you want to have $5 million worth of cash producing assets, not $5 million in stuff or stock. You want it to produce cash. And this is really, really critical, because once again, let's just go ahead and talk about, I have a business, right? And the business I'm in, this is something I can do. I can be 80 years old and do this. So this is a very long-term business that I'm in, right? Let's say, let's go ahead and fast forward 20 years in the future. I'll be 76 and I have this business, and this business produces 10 million a year after paying employees and expenses. Let's say that's 3 million. So it has a profit margin of 7 million. I can pretty much do well at 76 with 7 million. I can do really well, because this is the thing. And this is one of the things I learned from business. You want to have something that produces cash. You want to have like, let's say I had $5 million in paid off real estate, not $5 million in heavily leveraged real estate with a lot of loans, but $5 million in paid off real estate. And let's see, that would produce about $35,000 to $40,000, maybe more with the escalation of rents, of monthly income. Let's go ahead and say 40. So 40 times 12 is $480,000, which we would take property taxes out of that money. And pretty much because it's real estate, we would get a lot of deductions. So we could pretty much, after paying property taxes and other stuff, we could pretty much safely say we would bring home $350,000 a year. So that 5 million is generating $350,000 per year. So in 10 years, it's 3.5 million. In 20 years, that's 7 million. In 30 years, that's going to be 10 million. So the real estate is something that can go up in value, produce cash. And this is one of the reasons that you want to start a business, because a business will give you the income and the ability to do what I call big boy lifting. I have a friend who worked a job, and he got his very good job. His job was paying him $3 million a year. And what he did is every year he would buy real estate. But here's the thing, he would pay cash for the real estate. So now he's at a point where he has about 20 properties that are all paid off, that produces income. So my friend, from just the property assets alone, is a millionaire with income producing assets. Because during this conversation, I was watching this video by George Camel. He's a personality on the Ramsey Show. And he was talking about how he became a millionaire, and he owns his house outright. He has money in the stock market. But here's the thing. George could not go out and buy a Porsche, because even though on paper he's worth $1 million, he would literally have to sell something to go ahead and purchase a Porsche. Here's where a business that trumps the investing thing. I have a business that I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to revamp it and totally set it up totally different. But for the last 15 years, I have not put any money in my business, and my business has made me millions. So this is why a business is the fastest way for you to get rich and to give you the tools and the assets and the money to become wealthy. Because here's the thing. Once you get to the point where you start buying income producing assets, then you free yourself. Because, like, let's say you had $10 million of paid off property that produced income. You would be forever rich. You would be forever wealthy. So, I've literally go through this, and this is one of the things, and let me share some with you. Everyone likes to look at the top YouTubers. I want to be a YouTuber so I can make all this money. I want to be a YouTuber. Being a high-level content creator and making millions of dollars a year, they have a business that makes millions. I don't think a lot of people really look at this like, I'm a YouTuber, I make all this money. If you look at the business of creating content and the business of setting yourself up in that venue, it's a totally different world. But a business, you get, like, once again, heating and air conditioning businesses, plumbing businesses, roofing businesses. These are businesses, literally, if you just take a moment to look at all the trucks and stuff around in your city, you will see that there's a lot of these businesses out there who are producing income. And if you were to go ahead and duplicate that and set yourself up with a business, you would get richer quicker than you would. It will literally blow your mind how fast you can start producing assets, how fast you can get rich. So starting a business, hands down, I know from personal experience, it's the fastest way for you to get rich. Now, to help you with that, I got something that's called the Corporate Citizen Playbook, where we take you through a guided session of, number one, setting up your companies, setting up your holding company, setting up your operating company, setting up your banking. Why is this important? So many people lose money in the future because when they were setting up their business formula, they didn't understand this. They didn't know the things to do. So we will go ahead, get yourself set up before your business really starts making money. And then once we get your business to making money and teaching you how to do things, then this is something that becomes a game changer. We actually help you get your business started, help you start making money. So if you're a person that has $10,000 to $30,000 available to go ahead and start your business, go below, fill out the questionnaire, and I will see you on a phone call. So that's all I got for you guys today. Once again, remember, the fastest way to get rich is to start a business, which in turn will help you become wealthy by getting high-level income-producing assets in your life.